What inspired you to become a sailor? Was it a childhood dream or did life push this to you?
I remember the first work which was given to me.
Correct.
The first work was stacking the dunnage. I was like, what's dunnage? Then all of a sudden, I see from the poop deck, there's a figurehead is coming and I can only see the red eyes. And he's got some weapon and all. He tried to kind of, you know.
What's one port that you always look forward to go back to? Today also.
Sure, this is one port or many ports, but
yeah, many memories and many ports. Huh? I hope your wife is watching.
I was very, very driven to become a master. And I mean, I had this target that before 30, I have to become a master.
So, Captain, you were sailing as a captain. Everything was nice. You were sailing with your wife, family on board. This is the best life as a sailor, right?
Absolutely.
So, how did the transition from being a captain on board to ashore happen? What are the biggest opportunities in maritime industry today for a new entrepreneur?
I think one area where everyone cannot ignore in any kind of business they are in is
Your views on future of AI, automation in shipping industry. Do you see disruption in traditional operations in shipping?
why not? Why not?
For young seafarers who want to follow your footsteps, both at sea and business, what's your biggest piece of advice? Guys, welcome to the Port to Port Talk Show, your gateway to the world of shipping, sailing, global trade, and the stories from the sea and beyond. I am Captain Rajat, a seasoned marine pilot, and each week I sit down with the trade pioneers, maritime industry experts, startup founders to discuss what is happening in the shipping industry and see how the new trends are actually shaping the global trade. So whether you are a maritime professional or just curious to know the forces behind global trade, this is your channel, this is your podcast. Today we have a very interesting personality with us. So let me give a little introduction of the guest today. He is the CEO, founder of Sea and Beyond. He has more than 25 years maritime industry experience. He has done MBA from a dream institute, which is IIM Ahmedabad. He has worked with IBM for 4 years after doing his MBA. I think he did not like much in IBM. After 4 years, he again jumped back to shipping. He started mentoring maritime professionals, and he full on took Sea and Beyond to the new heights. So I welcome Captain Gaurav Rana. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Rajat. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, you're doing a great job. The idea of bringing information to the maritime fraternity, bringing something new which is happening. And I think that's what the community needs. So kudos to you. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So tell me about your Dubai journey, because you live in Mumbai. How come you ended up in Dubai and you're meeting here?
No, we are now at a stage in Sea and Beyond where we're looking to expand. And I think one of the countries, one of the areas where the expansion is happening, where there's a lot of demand for talent, is the GCC area, the UAE, Saudi, Kuwait. And we've just established our office, our presence in UAE. We've hired a couple of professionals.
Congratulations.
And that's what brings me here. Thank you so much.
Very interesting. So, Captain, let's move to the beginning, because we will come to Sea and Beyond. But, somebody who achieves something beyond ordinary, his life may be going the similar way, but maybe his thought process, or he may have found some mentorship which actually motivated him beyond doing ordinary, right? So let me start with the first question, because every sailor has a story, right? So what inspired you to become a sailor? Was it a childhood dream or did life push this to you? How did this happen?
Yeah, I think it's destiny, honestly.
Really?
Because, I was like, in 95, 96, 97, you're like you do what others did. And honestly, we didn't know what we could do at that point of time. So I saw an ad in a newspaper by Shipping Corporation of India, wherein it said that you can earn 25,000 rupees, I guess. 25.
It was a big money.
Absolutely.
And they never give this money to cadet. Sad to say, man. I was having this conversation with Sunil.
Right.
And you know what he said? He said, I didn't know that you were SCI cadet. SCI wala se baat hi nahi karta.
Right.
Yeah, this was a trap.
So I mean, it was like you get to earn 25,000 rupees and roam around the world. So that's like dream. And somehow, I mean, the way I was, engineering, I gave exams, I got selected in a college, but it was not something which really I wanted to do, but I didn't know what else I could do. True. And why I say this was destiny is because I saw the ad and I had actually filled up the application and just put it in an envelope to be posted. Now my father at that time said that get your eyesight checked. Is it 6x6? And only after you get it checked, then you post it. And then I said okay. And then
so your father was okay you going to the sea, yeah?
Father was very much okay. Mothers generally are.
Of course. You're from North India, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a very difficult decision to make.
It was, and we didn't know anything about Merchant Navy. No one knew about Merchant Navy, but yeah. So I kind of so we filled up the form, put it in the envelope, and we kept it like that. Or I kept it like that. And after a week or so, or 10 days, I guess, my father asked, did you post that? I said, no. I said, why? Because, no, I didn't do my eyesight test. And he said, why? I said, I don't know. I mean, how we are like. And then he took me, we did my eyesight test. And then what we realized is that the last day of submitting the application passed one day before.
Okay.
And then we thought, I mean, my father said, do you really want to I want to go here. Let's give it a try. We couldn't courier it because it was specifically...
How could you say you really wanted to go there when you were not even serious to post the application?
I know. I mean, I don't know, but I forgot about it or whatever it happened. But I kind of said, let's just try it out. And so we kind of... and we couldn't courier it. We had to give it by post. So one day after the last submission date, we posted the application by Indian Post, by Speed Post, right? And
to SCI Mumbai.
To SCI Mumbai. With देखा जाएगा अगर हो गया otherwise let it be, and we got, and things, you are from SCI, so then you got the examination date, you got the admit card, you went for an interview, things just happened, and I got. So that's why I say, I mean, it's destiny for me, and that's how I got into Merchant.
So who was sitting in your interview? You remember anyone? Captain Philip Matthew?
No, I think it was Captain Asthana.
Captain Asthana. I never met him.
Nice.
But I heard about him.
Yes, I think it was Captain Asthana.
Captain Ghatak?
No.
Ajay Ghatak, no?
No.
Okay, all right. Interesting. So basically it was a destiny for you.
It was destiny for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did your cadetship 4 months?
Yeah, pre-C for
4 months?
3 months.
And then on board. How was your first day on board, Captain? As a cadet, you boarded?
Yeah, I mean, so I think before the first day, I remember, so I was less than 18, so my father had to come and sign the indentures. That's how I could go on board. Yes. And so my father actually left me to the airport. And, that's one of the moments which I remember, that you don't see your fathers getting very emotional, right?
True.
And so, I mean, the first day starts from there, wherein you board a flight and you bid bye to your father.
And you don't know where you're going, man.
Seriously. and
where were you flying to?
Chennai. Yeah, so the first time in flight on my own, first time in the airport. So all that was a journey. So yeah, of course.
So what was the advice your father gave to you? Because my father gave a very interesting advice.
What was it?
First you tell yours, then I will tell mine.
No, sir. I think what he told me is that I mean, stay away from the vices which merchant navy was most popular about.
Oh, so he knew about it.
He knew about the vices at least, because then more than us, the parents do the research, right? So he gave that advice to me, and otherwise he was like, just be logical and do whatever. But I remember, he kind of, those last few days, he took care of me the best way a father could. He just pampered me for the last 3-4 days when we were about to, go on the first ship. What was the advice that you got?
I think I will put it on the record.
Okay.
But he just said, enjoy everything, but use protection. I was like, okay.
Good. Yeah.
So he knows.
Yeah.
He's a
absolutely.
father, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice.
I was like, okay.
Right.
So first day on board ship.
First day on board ship. I mean, I remember seeing the gangway first of all. Climbing that bloody thing, and then.
So you were given white boiler suits, yeah? SCI used to give white boiler suits, yeah.
I don't remember honestly.
On the back you have a big SCI logo.
Correct. But was it white or I honestly don't remember now the color of the boiler suit. But I think we were 3 cadets who joined within that day. But I think I traveled alone. The other 2 went in another flight, and I mean, go report, change into boiler suit because I was on a cadetship, and
you go back. Correct.
I was in a cadetship, so there was
a cadetship. Okay, tell me about the cadetship because not many people know what used to be a cadetship.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I mean, cadetship is cadetship, but there was a ship called a cadetship because there were only cadets on board.
Yeah, I mean, many people would be very surprised to hear that on that ship there was a crew of I think 55 people. Yeah.
That time
there was a crew of 55. We had a cook, an assistant cook, a trainee cook, a captain steward, all those kind of.
I used to have a cadet steward, man.
We also had a cadet steward.
Exactly.
Yeah. We also
he used to wake me up early morning, 6 o'clock with the chai toast he used to bring. That treatment I never got.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, we had a cadet steward as well, but no, we didn't get that luxury of getting
Because my
woken
chief
up.
officer was good.
Yeah, nice.
Regards to Captain Ingle.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah, cadetship was essentially, made to train the cadets. So we had 15 cadets on board that ship. We were given practical, of course, which everyone gets, but also some theoretical lessons as well. So there was at any point of time there would be 3 hierarchies over there. So there would be one batch which was maybe the most senior most, then a batch which was maybe 3-6 months younger, and then another 6 months junior. So we got taught, we got dragged, we got whatever, the whole the way we know, and it's a separate thing for
So
cadets.
who was in charge of you? Was it chief officer or was it bosun? Generally, I heard bosun used to give cadets.
Yeah, so I think the first 3 months it was, probably the bosun only who was giving us the work. We were not in connect with the chief officer a lot, and you'd be surprised, and this is an SCI. The first, I did 11 and a half months on that ship. I didn't go on the bridge for more than 11 days, I think.
In 1.5 years?
Yeah, in 11 months. In 11 months,
months.
11 and a half months. I don't think I went on the ship for more than 11 days. And the irony of it is, on the second ship, the NWKO couldn't join. There was no third officer. And I was the only cadet. And
Which was the ship?
Sampurn Swaraj. I went for the delivery of the vessel.
There was a tanker, right?
A product tanker. And then we were asked to, I was asked to do the bridge watch. And, but it was this, whatever you had learned, whatever you had heard, and, I was there on the bridge and
11 days of training.
but the captain was very good, so yeah. I think he trained me on that vessel till the time third officer came. He guided me and is able to.
So did you get this in the CDC that you were the NWKO? No.
No.
That was just the training.
It was just a training. Yeah.
So first day, kuch.
Yeah.
You boarded the vessel.
First day was, I remember the first work which was given to me.
Correct.
The first work was stacking the dunnage, and that I remember that was told to
dunnage.
me. Go stack the dunnage. I was like, what's dunnage?
And what's stacking?
What's stacking? And and so it was a general cargo ship, so you had dunnage to kind of lash the cargo or just keep that tight. So we used to get dunnage. We just used to stack. So that is what I did the first day.
So senior cadet must have taken you.
Told you what to do. Correct. You got introduced to the chief officer. Said hi. Change into boiler suits. Go on deck, and go stack.
Once you go on the ship, basically, I feel that your switch is turned on. So you become like a very enthusiastic and hyperactive mode. Acha, ye karna hai, okay, let's do this. Ye karna hai, let's do this. Once you come back home, you're like, chal, theek hai, ho gaya. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that happened to me a little later. So see, I went on the first ship when I was 17, right? And honestly, I was lost. I was just doing what everyone else wanted me to do. I was at some point of time, when I reflect back, I think I was very stupid to be just, I was not questioning a lot. I was, following the instructions, right? And because as far as I remember, we were told that पहले जहाज पे जा रहे हो जो बोल रहे हो वो करते रहो, and I was like that only कि just do sincerely whatever is you are being asked to do.
Don't ask they will start thinking अरे ये smart cadet आया है इसको फंसा हुआ है.
So yeah, I mean, I was a little lost, surely, but I was doing sincerely whatever was being asked to do.
Okay, so let's go ahead with the next question. Okay, Captain, what's the one unforgettable story from the cadetship days that still makes you laugh today?
I mean, what making me laugh, or it's an unforgettable incident which I have,
which may not make you laugh.
Because a couple of them. So this is a story which I also kind of boast about to my kids also. So I don't know whether it still happened, but we used to have this pilferage rounds in the night, right? So especially in the Indian ports. So we were, I guess, anchored in Chennai. And then you'd heard a lot of cases of the mooring ropes being, taken away by these guys. So I was on my round over there. And I was on the poop deck and was just, kind of taking a round. And
you were a cadet?
I was a cadet. And I think I was a cadet, and there was an AB or an OS who was also taking rounds. So one person at the forward, one person at the aft, someone goes in the middle. So, and mooring ropes had to be protected. So I was in the poop deck. And then all of a sudden, I see from the poop deck, there's a person who's kind of, and there's a person, or there's a figurehead who's coming, and I can only see the red eyes.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, I mean, who's that guy? I mean, who's that? And I kind of, and he saw me, and I saw him, right? And he's got some weapon and all. He tried to kind of scare me with that, and I mean, like a good cadet, I was like, I put on the walkie-talkie, pirate on board, and and he jumped from there itself. He jumped, so I mean, it's not nothing very brave which I did, but you remember such things when you see. I mean,
no, but it's also like very courageous thing to do what you did. Maybe you may have just hands up and run away, but you called, huh? How far were you from this guy?
Yeah, I mean, he was on the railings and I was on the other end of the poop deck. So there was some distance
So you
between
knew
us.
you could run also, just in case he starts running
And he
behind.
didn't have a gun as such, so he just had a kind of a weapon. But
Okay.
he's
Which port was it?
Chennai, if I am not wrong. Yeah, it was Chennai. So
My God.
yeah.
So you told the story to the master or chief officer?
Yeah, I told it to the. I mean, everyone knew, and then
they must be clapping. This
yeah,
guy saved, huh?
I was encouraged.
Saved the day.
The next day morning, a captain called me up, and then he said, "Good job" and all that. Yeah, so that is good encouragement.
Good. Okay, Captain. Any moments in your cadetship where you thought, "Oh, what am I doing? I was not supposed to be here."
Honestly, not. I mean, I didn't think it in a way that was I supposed to be there or not. But I remember, we were on a smallish vessel. I think Karma was about 170 meters long or so, and we were in Bay of Biscay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and 40 degrees of 35, 40 degrees of rolling. And
So guys, Bay of Biscay is a place on earth where you have the most, how do I say, most dangerous waves.
Yeah,
The swell,
choppy
the
seas.
seas is like crazy because of the topography. I will put the link or maybe a photo of Bay of Biscay so you will have an idea of how the topography of Bay of Biscay is actually creating very dangerous waves. So he's talking about Bay of Biscay. It's crazy.
Yeah. And first ship, Bay of Biscay, 35, 40 degrees rolling. You don't know. I mean, I think it was my first voyage also, not just the first ship. So I didn't know whether it's normal, not normal. But then I also, and I distinctly remember crew, they had put their life jackets on.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. And they were kind of prepared. And I was like, okay, I mean, maybe that's how it is. But
So you also put your life jacket?
yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I think.
Don't tell me Captain also put on the life
No, I don't. I mean, we were in the
you were
mess room. We didn't go on the bridge, but yeah, I mean, it was one of those.
But do you think life jacket could save even if something goes wrong? I don't think.
I don't think so.
And
But
it's so cold also, Bay of Biscay.
correct. I don't think we could have launched the lifeboat also.
This kind of
35,
weather,
35,
no way.
40 degrees of rolling. But what I recall is that dangerous situation, being there, and me being whatever the naive person I was, I couldn't understand the importance of it, or the how do you call it, the enormity of it. I couldn't understand, realize that.
Correct.
So and so these are things which I kind of these are things which have stuck in my brain, that I should have been a little bit more aware. I think, and while we are on
No, but I'm sure because you were 15 cadets. So at any point, your learning will be much more than mine. Because, see, you were learning from cadets. You had direct access to your maybe senior cadet or boss. But for me, I was most of the time single cadet.
oh
So I had nobody to, connect to at my level. Of course, I mean, we had OS, we had similar age crew as well. But at cadet level, I was alone. So
yeah, I totally agree, because in the next ship which I went, I was the lone cadet. So at least on I mean, I can validate that having 15 cadets, the learning is much more, the practical learning, the fun is much more. You really enjoy that part.
True. Next segment is life at sea, the good, bad, and unexpected. The most challenging situation you ever faced on board.
So, it has to be those that day when I was in the second command, second ship as in command, right? And sailing with Vietnamese crew. Me, I think top 4 were Indians, and as captain also on that ship, I was the youngest person on board, and I was sailing with my wife.
Oh, was it a cargo ship?
No, oil tanker.
Oil tanker?
And we were doing tank cleaning. So the chief officer went for the tank cleaning, and
Chief officer also Vietnam? No, India.
no, top 4 Indians, and I mean, he was of course in charge, and he went for the tank cleaning, and probably about 7:30ish in the morning. I was probably just about to get up, or maybe about 7ish in the morning, and at the time when you hear a announcement on the PA, one man sleep inside the tank, one man sleep inside the tank, and you are in your sleep and you hear it. There are all of a sudden, I mean, the worst comes to your mind.
But why didn't he call you?
I mean, anyway, I think I think it was the right thing to do, because let him know. I mean, at that point of time, he will let everyone know about it, right? And so I kind of get up. You have. I mean, boiler suit is what you can wear the quickest.
True.
So wore the boiler suit, went quickly on the bridge. Saw there were about 3-4 people surrounding a tank dome, and so quickly checked with chief officer what's happening. And chief officer, I mean, he was I mean 15 years older to me at that point of time, so he was a little shaken up. What's happening, couldn't speak. But then I went down, wore my safety shoes, ran down. And
with the EBD,
it was already kept
gas
there.
free?
It was. I mean, all the things were, all the safety precautions were taken.
No, but was it gas free or inerted?
No, it was gas free. It was gas free.
It was gas free.
It was gas free. Yeah.
So you don't need a SCBA or anything.
Right, but that's how the crew went down to clean, right? So I went near the tank dome, and I saw the bosun and one I think pump man. They came up wearing or no, they just came up. They didn't wear anything at that time. And what happened? I said, there's one person who's down below, and I said, what's happened? He's kind of he's lying down, and
unconscious.
I mean, unconscious. And I mean, very happy that the bosun and the other crew member took that action. They came up quickly as soon as they could. Then quickly there were two members who were I think the pumpman was there, and I think the bosun again, they wore SCBA. Went down. We kind of had the stretcher. We had prepared everything. I mean, it was ready like the way it should be. The guy was kind of put on the stretcher. He was taken up, and while he was coming up, I could see that his hands were free.
He was completely
neck
unconscious.
He was completely unconscious, and I'm seeing it from there, and I'm like, I'm just praying for this guy, and I see on top of the bridge wing, and I see my wife. She's in tears.
She was watching.
Yeah, she's in tears, and I'm like over there, and then this guy comes up. We do the drill. We give him the oxygen. We had by that time kept that ready. I gave him mouth to mouth.
Oh, really?
And like how it happens in the movies.
Oh shit!
This guy.
Wow, Captain! Wow, saved a life, man.
And I mean, this was he was okay. 10 minutes later, he was walking. He went walking back to the launch. He's of course unconscious, but oh my God, those 10 minutes, whatever time, 5-10 minutes, will always be ingrained.
That's why, guys, see, if you do the medical courses, first aid, medical, or Medicare, advanced medical, please do at a good institute. Learn things, because you see, Captain Gaurav, he saved a life because he did good training. I know some people who just take the medical certificate because you don't generally attend these kind of emergencies. So guys, please do not do shortcut in medical, please.
Absolutely.
This is very important. He saved a life, sir. Thank you. I mean, I have no words, man. And in that situation, you could have just, maybe called the radio medical advice, what to do, what. I mean, you could have made a lot of excuses not to do that, but
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were trained for, right? That I thought was the right thing to do at that point of time. We had the oxygen resuscitator, we had SCVS, we had everything over there. And
which year was it?
2009, I guess. 2009, first half, probably. Yeah.
So your wife must have like, oh my God, he is my hero. He's a hero of the entire world.
I don't know, whatever you think, but I was like, not on my watch. You couldn't have happened over there. I was just thankful to God that, we were able to save a life. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever had a oh shit moment, oh shit, where things just went completely unexpected? Maybe during cargo watch, or maybe on the bridge, or...
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh really?
Oh
my God. And it's just come to my mind, and I'm like, yes.
What is that?
Yes. So again, no, not on that vessel. And you won't believe all of these situations have happened when I've been a master. And I think it was the last vessel as master probably, and bunkering in Singapore, right?
Okay.
And you've got all the checks done, everything done. You're on bridge. You've checked it. Bada sahab, all okay. Yes, all okay. And we started bunkering, and you won't believe, you're taking the bunkers from starboard side, and on the port side the flange is open, and you got the bunker out from the other side.
Scuppers were plugged?
Scuppers were plugged. And luckily for us, it didn't go. Fuel oil. And luckily for us, it didn't go overboard. It was all kind of safe, so to say. But yeah, and it just stuck to me now, and it was the oh my God moment in my life.
Lucky. So they may have opened it because they did not know which side the bunker barge was coming.
Correct.
But there was no blank. Okay.
And honestly, it's there in the checklist. You should check on the other side also. But things happen, and
but there's also valve. Valve was also opened.
Yeah.
Stupid. Anyway, luckily nothing happened. No oil overboard, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So you had a complete oil drill, huh? Oil pollution drill.
Oh, absolutely. And that time, there was a change of chief officer also happening.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Seafarers often have their own superstitions. Do you believe in any, or you had any crew who had different beliefs, strange beliefs that you encountered?
Not that I can think of right now. Is there any strange belief?
Any crew member with unusual beliefs? No. Okay, I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
SCI ship, second ship as a cadet. Same like you were on Vishwakarma, I was on state of Nagaland. So back in 2004-5, the alcohol was not a problem. Like, ये सब बाद में आए हैं rules, and cargo ship, nobody cares. So we were supposed to do hold cleaning. We used to call hold cleaning, right? And one crew member was missing. So we searched around everywhere. Kidhar gaya, tea time mein could not find. So bosun informed me, and then I informed chief officer कि ये बंदा नहीं मिल रहा है. So chief officer ने मुझे बोला कि आप जाओ बोसन के साथ, go and check around. So we figured out he's not on the deck. Then we went to his cabin. Cabin was locked. We tried to knock, not open. So we had the master key. We opened the door. We saw this guy sitting only in underwear.
Oh my God.
Actually, this is a real story. And he got up, and his entire body is shivering, like legs are also shivering. I asked Bosan, what is happening to him, man? Is he okay? Bosan बोलता है इसको दारू नहीं मिली है इसलिए इसलिए I mean, it happens,
Yeah, yeah,
if you are
absolutely.
addicted to
Correct.
the alcohol and you don't get alcohol, you get to that stage.
Yeah.
So maybe he was very depressed or maybe he could not behave normally.
Yeah.
So that happens, right?
Yeah. That's the importance of getting alcohol on board.
I mean, those days were over, bro. So no, but I'll tell you, when I was sailing with Norden, so if you know the Danish companies, they have a very different perspective, very different attitude rather than, from the other companies. So let's say you talk about any tanker company, TK, they have zero alcohol policy, I'm not sure if TK, but a lot of companies have zero alcohol policy, the oil tanker companies. But in Norden, we never had zero alcohol. You know why? The seniors, the people who are sitting in the office, they used to say,
The trust.
if we ban alcohol, if we make zero alcohol, then everybody will have alcohol and nobody will talk about it. So might as well, don't restrict too much that people start making this illegal practice.
Right. No, actually, I was in Bergeson and I've heard this that, there was one vessel which had French people sailing and they actually used to serve wine during the lunchtime. And I've been one vessel with all Norwegians officers and I was the lone Indian officer. And I think we also used to have a fairly open, I'm not sure, but I think it was available. The wine was available, at least in the dinner time to everyone. Not in the lunch, but in the dinner time. And it was okay. People knew.
We never had any instances of, people getting over drunk and start beating people. Never, man.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah, instances were there, but they
Never
were, we knew how to control them, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, Captain, very interesting question. What's one port that you always look forward to go back to? Today,
Yeah.
also.
Okay. Not sure this is one port or many ports, but
You have many memories and many ports. Huh? I hope your wife is watching. Okay.
no, of course, I think the first one is the first foreign port, right? And it was Haifa in Israel. And
Haifa, yeah.
And we, nice of our chief officer, he let, I think about 12, 13 of us out.
Oh, out of 15 cadets,
Out
only
of
2, 3 were
15,
on board.
And the first port, right?
But you didn't have money, right?
Yeah, my God. So that's the good part of SCI, The
Seniors take care
seniors
of.
really take care of it. And while the purser would give me $50 after 1.5 months of working on the ship, the chief officer would give another $50 to each one of you and say, you just take care of yourself.
Correct.
So, and the senior cadets would also then pitch in. Yeah, so
That's the best part about SCI because the seniors, they really take care of you as a cadet.
They do. Absolutely. They do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's Haifa, and we are, just going our own way on the streets, and we're seeing people going out, and they're rhyming Hindi songs. So Ichak Dana, Bichak Dana,
Really?
they're singing.
They saw you, they start singing.
They started singing. Amitabh Bachchan, and also it's the first time in a foreign port, and people make you feel good about yourself, about your origin,
country,
and that's their way of kind of welcoming in their country. So which has a distinct impression in my mind. And of course the 12 cadets where we were, right? And then when I became a mate, we went to Greece, and again we saw Acropolis, and we had a 1-2 days of good just going out, enjoying ourselves. I had a second engineer with me, and we had a real good fun.
You were not traveling with your wife that time, huh?
No,
Not sailing.
no, not that time. But yeah, the third one is with my wife.
I don't want to comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was the third one?
Yeah, so this was in I guess in Indonesia, yeah. And so she's like me, so whenever I would go out at any place, I would always look at the most local cuisine, and I would hunt for it, be it the most strangest, be it the most palatable, but we'll look for it and try it out, right? And she is like me. So we went to Indonesia, we tried out whatever.
Indonesia, they eat anything and
yeah,
everything, man.
And we
Snake
we,
soup and whatnot.
correct, and we loved it. So just going there, and you have a time frame, 12 hours or whatever, 6 hours, 8 hours, you have to be back, and so making the most of those 6-8 hours, right?
True.
That's the crux of our shore leave, within that time, be mindful. So you can't go very far, you can't go this thing. I mean, as master is okay. I mean, you don't have to do a watch, but as officers, you have to go back and do a watch. Enjoy within that time. Plan yourself very well, and then
And come back, rest
come
as
back.
well. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Interesting. So this is done. Okay, let's come to leadership, mentorship, and lessons from the bridge. How was your journey to becoming a captain? Was there any defining moment in your leadership journey?
So, I think I was very, very driven to become a master, and whatever, I don't know, it was, I mean, I had this target at before 30, I have to become a master. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's no reason for it. But
My target was to get married before 30.
Oh, okay. Now coming to it, well, that was not the criteria, but my grandfather had put a condition on me that you'll only get married once you become a master.
Oh, so eventually it's before 30.
So yeah, and I mean, luckily for me, I got married. I got my command, and then I married. But yeah, so I was very motivated to become a master, and which led me to kind of change a few companies, right? And I was not the one to change a company for money. I never did that, but I did a few switches. Wherever I would get a promotion, I would go there, right? So and that single mind focus of getting command as soon as possible led me to do these changes, few companies. But yeah, I mean,
I think once you have a goal in mind, you figure out.
Correct. And then you start working backwards.
You
honestly.
start working backwards. Interesting. Have you ever had to make a really tough decision as a captain that affected entire crew?
Yeah, coming to think of it, it was actually again with my wife on board, second vessel in command, and we were anchored for I think about 2 months in Black Sea.
Okay. Neurosis?
Yeah, close to Nova. Yeah, close to Nova. We were to load over there, and it never happened. We went out, but there was a time when there was no provision, or the provision was becoming very less. Normal water rationing issues happening. You're just drifting. There's nothing to do. How much work can you give when the vessel is drifting for a month and a half, 2 months, and so there was a pressure. Rationing, eat as less as you can. All those things happening.
So it really happened, huh?
It really happened. Yeah, it really happened. And honestly, during that time, the charter rates and the market was very bad. So that was also.
So it was kind of a layup.
It was kind of a. I don't know it was a layup or not, but we were told to drift, and the next cargo would be at Novorossiysk, right? But yeah, there was drifting happening, and so you had to put foot down one fine day, saying that there's not much of rationing that you could do. Now we are struggling with the food, we are struggling with the water, so we need to go there.
We need to go inside the port,
we need to go inside, and you tell the owners, then you get into the charterers, then you kind of raise your voice, you do all that thing. But not a lot of. I mean, it was not very, very bad, but it could have been extremely bad if you wouldn't have kind of being informing, kind of saying that, we need this by this time. Then the first target didn't meet. Then you said, now we want it by this time. Then you want it by this time. So you're keeping them appraised. And then finally, one of
So
them
what?
says,
How you got the provision? Did they call the vessel inside, or
no.
they sent the boat out?
Correct. They sent the boat out. Yeah.
So why were they not sending the boat before?
It's costly.
Yeah. I heard a story, I don't know if it is true, that similar situation, the crew were hungry and there was no ration. Master picked up the anchor, went inside the port, calling SOS. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Okay.
I don't know if it is true, but master can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
People may die
Correct,
if you don't get
correct,
food.
Correct, absolutely.
One leadership lesson that sea has taught you that you apply every day in your life.
I think to almost all the sailors, we are what we are because of the sea, right? It's and honestly, I mean, I've been in an MBA college where I was the only mariner. I've been in a company where I was the only mariner for 4 years. I've been in actually 2 companies for 4 years where I was the only mariner.
We'll come to that.
Yeah. And so in all these things, in all these experiences, your quality of or the qualities which you have gained being a mariner helps you to stand out. And it was not just me. I think it would have been any other mariner. The mariner would have been successful, right? And I mean, it comes from the basic things like, discipline, like being sincere, like being, I mean, these are very, I would say, basic things, but most people may not do it, being true to your word, right?
True.
And
discipline.
And following up on what is being told to you or what you would advise someone to do, right? Taking care, empathy, right? Taking care of your juniors, respecting the seniors, right?
True.
All of these things you just learn. It's not that someone will tell you be sincere. It's just the way of life on board a vessel,
onboard ship,
right?
Very true.
So all of these things, day in day out, that's you, how you are, how a mariner is.
True.
And absolutely helps you in everywhere, in every way in the life.
I tell you, there's a very interesting thing that as a sailor we learned is a closed loop communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes I tell something to my wife, she understands, she may not acknowledge, but we as a sailor, we are used to getting the answer back.
Absolutely.
Okay, I understand, or whatever.
Correct.
So closed loop communication is something that the sea teaches you.
Correct.
Because communication is very critical and
very
very important.
Very critical.
Interesting. Okay, when you were sailing, maybe as a master, as a chief officer, did you ever think of upskilling yourself, or did you start doing something to upskill yourself on board?
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question and very pertinent in today's day and age, and of course before as well. When I was giving my phase 1, phase 2, which is mates exams, that's the time when the first, just a minutest thought came to my mind that, I'll not get a degree, so I should do something about it. How do I upskill? Where do I upskill? How will it help me? And I mean, with whatever speed internet was, you could search on the web, you wouldn't find anything. I actually found Maine University in US. I wrote to them. I actually written about 10 emails. That one, I got one reply, and that was an Indian and who replied. And I was like, it's an Indian, so he's gonna guide me. So then I wrote him another 5 emails, but the reply never came, right? So I didn't know where to upskill, how to upskill. Then I found out about one course which would give me a BSc Nautical Science, a distance learning course, and it was you will get a 4-year degree, and I kind of started doing it, and I will not name the course,
Is
of
it Bits
course.
Pilani? I have done the same, bro.
Okay. But to me, I think that was one of the courses which really did not add
It's
value
just
to me.
the certificate on the paper, to be honest.
Correct. So, I mean, whatever was being taught to me during mates,
I
masters.
will put it out because Bits Pilani is a big name.
Yeah, don't put the name there.
Yeah.
But it was one of the course which did not add any value. I had to struggle a lot. I had to, really study. I had to make a thesis, submit it. I did finished the course in about 6 to 8 years, but a 2.5 year course because you got remission for a year or so. And but I think something which I then related later on was that there's a gap. People don't know, are not aware what they could do. Leave alone. How to go about approaching them. So that awareness was not there. So you did whatever you came to know, or whatever one of your
Somebody
friend or a
tells
friend
you.
or
True.
friend tells you, so yeah, and that's how I started to upskill. I did it with the view that I'll do MBA, which I finally did, but not the best way of upskilling yourself. So I'm
So that was not upskilling.
actually
that was just getting the degree to
correct.
save you some sea time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Didn't save me sea time, but it was it was the one which I did. You would have to do the full sea time, but you would still. I did it only for the degree, nothing else.
Oh, okay. For us, it was generally the cadet used to do 24 months of sea time.
Okay.
If we do this DLP, it was reduced to 18 months.
Okay.
So we saved 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so we'll come back to your startup and the journey of MBA. But for now, let's get to the funny side of sailing. Every sailor has a hilarious cruise story. What's yours?
Yeah. A small one, a very quick one. So, I think as a cadet or as a third mate probably. So there's and so the first time I was sailing with Filipinos, and I think that's a common way of communicating. But chief officer asked me to, so I gave some instructions to the crew, and chief officer asked me to give it again, right? Or there was an instruction which was given and I had to repeat it. So I said,
Chief officer was Indian.
Indian,
Okay.
yeah. So I told on the walkie-talkie, I gave an instruction and then I said, come back again. And then I saw the crew actually coming back.
Come back again.
Yeah, so
Correct.
so that's on the walkie-talkie.
It's like go ahead. अरे सर मैं तो भोक्सल में पहुंच गया अब इसके आगे कहाँ जाऊँ?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an awkward situation with the port official, customs, or immigration?
A very interesting story. Not interesting, but yeah, an awkward kind of a story. So our ship went to Pakistan.
Oh.
And we of course couldn't go out, but during that time there was this cricket series also going on.
Okay.
And I used to follow cricket a lot. And that time there was a test match between Pakistan and Australia.
Okay.
And Pakistan, in their own way, they lost the match they were winning, so they grasped the loss from the hands of win. So so and I was talking to this custom guy, and I was just trying to we talk the same language. I was like, sir, बहुत बुरा लगा कि पाकिस्तान हार गई, and he was like, his expressions were, is he kind of making fun of me, or is he really showing sympathy. Yeah. And his expression said it all. And I was like, oh, no, was it the right thing to say or not? But no, I think nothing untoward happened. But yeah, I think that was one. And so then no, yeah, it was, yeah, I think that was the one which happened with the custom guy.
So, Captain, you were sailing as a captain. Everything was nice. You were sailing with your wife, family on board. This is the best life as a sailor, right?
Absolutely.
So, how did the transition from being a captain on board to ashore happen?
Yeah. So honestly, I used to love sailing.
Yes.
Absolutely love sailing. And today also someone tells me go sail for a couple of months a year, I would love to do that.
True.
But 3 ships in command, and then you start thinking what next. And like what would happen with a lot of other individuals, person who was my chief officer, he got into a shore job and he was leaving, and very kind of his wife, because I sailed with his wife as well. So she actually found out my email address, phone number, and while I was in the ship, she emailed me that he's leaving, there is an opportunity, go and apply. I was on the vessel itself when I applied for that job. So at least the knowledge or awareness of a particular kind of vacancy and a job happened through
Common connections.
Common connections, right? And that was essentially how you would get into a shore job at that point of time, right? So that's how I applied for that job while I was on the ship. I came, and actually I came and I straight away went and gave the interview. Then I went back. The interview results took a month and a half, and then I got selected. But this was, I was lucky, very lucky, because somehow a typical marine superintendent job did not attract me a lot. And I was somehow in my mind clear that I may not do that job.
You may not
right?
join.
And this was, the profile was into consultancy. And we don't know about consultancy. And this was into ports and logistics. We're not a shipping consultancy. And what do we know about ports here? How a port is built, how a simulation is done, what is mooring analysis, how do you do traffic studies, due diligence, all those things you don't know, right? And so I was extremely lucky to be made aware about that job. Luckily I passed through the interviews.
What were the questions in the interview? Do you remember anything?
Yeah, so I think it was more to do with maneuvering, more to do with pilotage, more to do with what ports have you been, and and the MD who took my questions is a good friend now, and honestly, I was the only mariner, right? And the person who questioned me was a civil engineer.
Oh my God!
So you can imagine the kind of questions they were. You can't.
They were also not sure what to ask.
So actually the test was more on attitude, aptitude, keenness about the job. And they were putting in the way that they could best put. They couldn't test my competence. If I told that, port side, alongside, starboard, whatever I could say, they were not competent to assess me on this. But they assessed in their own way in terms of
attitude,
attitude, aptitude, and
very interesting.
So
I think, as you said, you were lucky, but given a chance to any sailor, the attitude of at least I can talk about the Indian officers and Indian masters. We are very upfront and we are very positive and honest about our attitude and the work that we do. So it's just that you were at right spot at right time. You could say that.
No, I'll tend to disagree. I'll tell you why. Because we are in this business of helping people transition. If I talk to 10 people on why do they want to transition ashore, not more than 2 would tell me that I want to transition because I want to learn, because I want to grow, because I want to support the fraternity, because I want to do this. Almost 8,
I think you're right.
8 will tell me
Very
that
घर पे रहना है,
पैसा बनाना है. I think it's a good life over there.
Correct.
9 to 6. I'm tired of sailing. it's all the either the negative part of sailing, too much documentation and all those things, or about the family, right? So, and if someone tells me, right, when we help in transition, and I tell why do you want, and that's the only question which a person has to prepare in the first time they are transitioning. Why do you want to transition? And if you tell the right things, and if you are really keen, more or less you are selected in that job.
If you have the learning attitude.
If you have the, I think that's the only thing,
that's the only
right?
thing
That you just need to
Interesting.
have that willingness to learn,
yeah.
to grow.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Okay, and so you got this job. So how many years you worked in this job?
Yeah, 4 years, 4.5 years.
Okay.
And like how it happens. So the learning curve in the first 2 years is very, very steep.
Mm-hmm.
So initially I was taken for navigation simulation. I did that. Then I was taught mooring analysis by fairly senior people. Then I was talked about port master planning. So even the
Which port was it?
So we were doing consulting work for all the ports, but
in India,
all the ports in India, right? And the Vidinium port, which is now being operated, the first maneuvering simulation of that port was done by me way back in 2014-15. You remember? So it's got operationalized a year back, but the first simulation was done by me in my first role, right? So the learning was amazing for the first 2 years. What I also learned in that job was business development and sales, because as mariners, we don't know how to sell. We are all operation people.
True.
And that's when I understood the importance of selling a product, of talking to people. How do you negotiate? How do you convince? How do you
pure marketing and sales.
Pure marketing and build a relationship essentially, right? But then as the third year passed away, fourth year came in, and then there was this thing which inside that
monotonous.
It is monotonous. And then what next?
Next,
we could have gone over there, but then I thought I didn't know about finance. I didn't know maybe about leadership, which I thought. I didn't know about technology, and I thought I really need to upskill myself, right? And then I did my research. I actually applied, not applied, but I asked for brochures from colleges. Initially, I did it all around the world with the first couple of months. Then it's a matter of then knowing where you want to go, right? And I had a strategy of saying that ensuring where I don't want to go, right? So the first thing which I said is I don't want to go out of India. So I had about 5-10 colleges outside India. Then I don't want to go outside India. I chucked all those options. Then I said, let's do within India. And within India, where do I want to go? Then I saw the age profile in the colleges, what kind of students are there, what their backgrounds are. And then I actually shortlisted only 2 colleges where I thought I would be a best fit, because I planned to do my MBA at the age of 33. I applied, I went at 34. So there were only 2 colleges that I shortlisted, was IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore, right? And in the meantime, I then...
Why not CAT? GMAT? Sorry, GMAT. ISBs?
Yeah, so ISB had a low age profile. So the typical, I think, age profile over there, or the experience level was about 3-4 years.
In ISBs?
In ISB. And the average age was about 27. The average age in IIMs was, I did a 1-year course, was 31, 32. So I thought, that's where I would probably best fit in, because the companies which come to the course would be hiring at that level. So that was the main reason why I kind of...
So you did thorough research, man, because...
I did a lot of research. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I did that research, and then researching is the easier part. Then you have to prepare yourself, and it's not easy. You prepare for GMAT.
For IIM, it's a CAT, right?
No, so
GMAT?
so there are two courses in IIM. One is a 2-year course, and the other is a 1-year
executive
course,
MBA.
1-year executive. That's a full-time MBA, and for that one you have to give GMAT, or the entry is through GMAT. So then I prepared for GMAT. The first time I got I guess 640. Then I again prepared. I got about 660. I again prepared, and doing it while you are on the job makes it a lot more difficult. So then the third time I got 700 or 710, and then I
that's
said,
a great score, man.
I was
For,
kind of
as a sailor, it's a great score.
yeah. I mean, I was happy
But
with it.
but your profile must have stood out, man. Because
It
was
did.
very
It
different.
did, because and that's the advantage which we have, right? You are a mariner, and especially then I had about 3 to 4 years working experience ashore as well, so I could understand how the corporate works as well. And so you gave your exams and the orals and all, and honestly the professors in these colleges, they know every field. They'll talk about alang, they'll talk about recycling, they'll talk about containers, they'll talk about everything. And you sometimes you have this thing.
They have some of the best faculties in India.
Amazing faculty. And I mean, I was lucky. Then I got through IIM Ahmedabad, and it's like the dream come true.
It's a dream college, yeah.
It's a dream come true.
sure.
If I went to give the interview, just seeing the opulence of that college, it gave me goosebumps. Literally, it gave me. You enter and you're like, this is where I want to study, and the first.
So how was your interview in IIM? So you give the written exam and then there's an interview.
Yeah. So
after GMAT they call you.
Yeah. So no. You give GMAT, then you have an application to be filled.
Yes.
And the application, you have to write the essays, you have to
why
give
you want to
your,
join.
yeah, correct. So those hold a lot of value.
Okay.
And you have to do it in a very, very well researched manner.
So you had a mentor who helped you with the writing essay and
yeah, I connected with a few people who had already done their MBA, mariners who had done their MBA, and I asked them, how do you prepare for it? And so I mean, the advice which they gave me and which I give to everyone is that you may look at the essays, you may look at the reasons why they wanted to do an MBA, but just this one question, right, which has to be absolutely right in your mind and true to yourself is, why an MBA? That one question you have to be prepared.
and it has to be personalized to you. You cannot
correct.
copy that.
You cannot copy it, right? Because you copy it, the professors will ask 3 follow-up questions, and they'll know that it's copied or it's you, right? Correct. So be true to yourself. Know why you want to do an MBA, and be there. And if you're true to yourself and the reason is right, you would get through.
So what's the minimum score to get into IIM Ahmedabad for GMAT?
Yeah, I think, the average score is typically 700, 705, 710. That's the average score.
Having your kind of background.
No, I think the average score is 705, 710. Having said that, I have seen people at 760, which is the maximum that you could have got, people not getting through.
Oh.
And I've also seen in my own class, there was a person at 650 who got through. Right.
How did this?
Because I mean that person really had an amazing experience, right? A very different kind of experience. I think into pharmaceutical, then an NGO and other stuff, and then if you are able to explain yourself better, why an MBA? So that's how the person got through. So I mean, do scores matter? Absolutely yes. But are they the only criteria to get you into these colleges? No. So, it's the whole package which the college assesses.
I was also watching your Sea and Beyond YouTube channel, where Is MBA for Me was the latest episode you posted.
Right.
So basically this is just to give the knowledge to the seafaring community of
correct
what they should do and if they want to do MBA or not.
Correct. Right. Just to summarize it, what I would suggest is that Um, Number one, first decide whether you would like to stay in shipping or not, right? If you want to stay in shipping, maybe MBA is not the best thing because shipping doesn't recognize MBA as much. You look at any of the top CXOs in shipping, 95% wouldn't have done a full-time MBA, right? They would have done it while they were doing a job. So that's okay, right? But talking about where you spend a considerable time, only doing an MBA. That's number one. Now, second is if you want to go outside shipping, my humble request is look at only the top 5 colleges in the particular geography and do the MBA. If you're above 30 or you're in the mid 30s, if you're mid 20s, do it from any top 50, that's okay. But as you age up, you should, the choices should should be less. It should be top as you get close to 30, then maybe top 20. As you're 30 to 35, top 10, then top 5. So because then the whole idea is the probability of success, right? If you at 35, if you do from a top 50 college, will you be successful? Maybe, may not be. The probability is less. So that's my only suggestion. And if you have spent more than 5-6 years, and if you're not able to secure a spot in the top 5 colleges, then look at shipping focused ones, right? Beautiful courses from the shipping focused courses, which give you very good placements, have a very good future. Look at them. I was not aware of them when I did this 10 years back. What we intend to do is make you aware of it, right? So that's our whole endeavor through C and Beyond.
So you did MBA from IIM. Any stories from the college?
Yeah, and I think that's a couple of them which would probably make the mariner community a little proud.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think one of the most important responsibilities, and if I may call the positions in an MBA college, is that of a recruitment secretary, right? So the recruitment secretary typically in these top colleges is the person under whose leadership the recruitment of the entire batch is done, right? And this batch selects, right? Elects.
The batch elects.
Elects, right? So there's a full-fledged election, there's a full-fledged canvassing which goes on, right? So before the election happens, then you canvass, you do all of whatever you have to do. And
so there are like a couple of candidates.
Not couple, 10, 15 candidates. Then out of those 15 candidates, then it shortens down to top 5. Then there is
what's the criteria of shortlisting?
So it's how you are able to influence your colleagues over there, right? Basis on your pitch, basis on what you would be able to provide, basis on how you will help them, basis on how will you call the companies. And so I thought about it a little late in the game that I should stand for it, but and I think I was a dark horse, and was happy that my batch elected me as their recruitment secretary, right? So that was one thing which I tell a lot of people who are doing their studies, that go and contribute to your own batch, right? Contribute in any which way, right? But the more responsible position you get, the more probability of you learning, right? Because then at that position I'm talking to
connecting, networking.
I'm talking to all the big guys in the industry, right? When I'm calling the companies, you have to talk to the head HRs, you have to talk to the CXOs, you have to, in the university, you have to talk to everyone and anyone, you have to manage the entire batch, right? So that's a learning. That was one of the best learnings that I had in my life, right? And the other one, luckily, I don't know whether I did anything good, but in my batch, the best thing was that IBM came and selected me. Why they selected, they only know. But for me, I got an opportunity to learn, and I was paid the highest in my batch.
Wow.
So, why I'm saying this is because we as mariners, I'm a very common, mariner. I'm like all of you, right? And I could do it. Any one of you, could do it. So I had a change of industry and a change of function, right? That's the most difficult thing to do when you upskill. Generally, people are only able to either do a change in industry or a change in function.
True.
From an ops to
Management. Yeah.
and from tech, marine to tech, right? So you guys, we all can do it. We are mariners at the end of the day, and
Correct.
so those are some interesting snippets from my days in the MBA.
So MBA and then IIM. How was the IBM story? Like, were you happy there, or
Yeah, so
why did you shift out of IBM? I want to know.
Okay, you want to know first that or first
Yeah,
about the
first-
MBA?
first about IBM,
About
yes.
IBM, right? So I think, first was, when I got selected in IBM, I got a chance to learn and being paid for it. That's the most deadly combination, right?
Awesome,
So I said, why not? You have to take it, right? Now, when I went there, I was at a management level, and then I started to ask questions. And my questions were the most stupidest questions that ever anyone could ask, right?
Really?
I didn't know, how the application is maintained. I didn't know, the
basics,
lingo
yeah.
of,
Corporate world.
of technology world, and of course corporate world also, but the technology world, I didn't know that what that particular thing means. So people are talking, and I'm like, what? And I'm supposed to be, in a
Leading the
way
team.
leading, and I was like, shit. And I had one of the best bosses. And then what he did was, he said, to our clients, he said, you work with that client, and in the CIO's office, you become his secretary, an executive assistant to the CIO, right? So for 3 to 6 months, I was, and at age, and after becoming a captain, and I was technical director in my previous company, and then I was the executive assistant to the CIO of the company. And I did that for 3 to 5 months, I guess. One of the most humbling experience, but it was an amazing experience, right? Because, I learned so much. The idea was that I had to kind of teach him about shipping, because that was a, ports company, and I had been into ports. So I would teach him about the domain, and I would learn tech from him. So I would be there taking notes, setting appointments, making a deck, presenting it for him, doing all of that stuff during the day. And during the night, I would go and learn about, whatever he would talk, whatever people were talking. So I would go there, go back to the hotel room, and learn about that. But after that period of time, I went to Mundra, and then I did a analytics assignment, and I was actually, able to present amazing facts which were taken to the chairman, and they all liked it. So, people talk about becoming a cadet once, and people hesitate to become a cadet
Twice.
again when they get into, marine superintendent or maybe a pilot job, right? I became a cadet 4 times. Once an actual cadet on the ship, second in BMT, third in IBM, and fourth, of course, in the entrepreneurship phase. You're always a cadet over there. So
You're always learning.
Yeah, you're always learning. So
very interesting. So IBM for 4 years, and then what happened?
Yeah. So I think what I realized about myself is that I think maybe I get bored a little quickly, and I so again, the learning curve was extremely high the first 2 years. Uh, and the third year it went a little slow, and then COVID also happened. Then I was like, kar rahe hain, nahi kar rahe hain. I was enjoying, not enjoying. And before this, I had actually started C and Beyond, right? And it was not that I left and started C and Beyond, but it was concurrently running. It was being managed by my family, right? And I was getting a lot of inspiration, a lot of kick when people, when I would, we would guide people would come to you for guidance, we would tell them certain things, and people, we got flowing testimonials, and I was just enjoying it, right? We were not making a lot of money, but then, that's a reset phase in your life, and then you can't keep your legs in both the boats, and then you had to choose one, right? True. And that's the time when I said, I think the kind of personality I am, it has to be something wherein I am just continuously engaged, continuously learning, because that's what I wanted at the end of the time, right? And that's the reason why I said, I mean, this is what I want to do. I want to be on my own. And I had a very strong sense of give back to the industry. Okay. And which is where I thought I will get fulfilled. That there'll be a lot of satisfaction, a lot of fulfillment. And that's the reason when I, said I would dive full time into C and Beyond. Hopefully, do something good for the industry.
We'll come back to C and Beyond, but what was the reaction of your boss when you said in IBM that you're going and doing your own thing?
Yeah, I mean, so very luckily for me, I had great bosses, all the time great bosses, right? And so he actually asked me, what do you plan to do, right? Then he tried and understand the concept. He said, are you sure about it? You think about this? Did you think about this? Did you think about that? He gave me a few examples that, a couple of his colleagues did this, and, and so we had a good 45 minutes, 1 hour, heart-to-heart discussion. And at the end of the day, he said, see, I know this person. He helps the startups. Why don't you connect to him? So in a way, he has kind of given me a blessing, right? And so, yeah, and I mean, that's very nice of him. I'm still connected to him, but yeah.
Okay, so Captain, how did the idea of C and Beyond came to your mind? What was the push or motivation that you thought of starting this?
Okay. So, I transitioned ashore when I was 30. And when you transition ashore at that age, or whenever you transition, your batchmates, people whom you know, start asking you, how did you do it? Why did you do it? What is in it for you? Yeah. What is the personality required? Do I really need to do this? Do I really need to do that? I did not know anything about it. I transitioned because, and I give all credit to my senior who was there, who at least introduced me to something which I never knew, right? True. And that got me thinking, it was, and all whom I knew, they got through because of a connection, right? Then I thought I should do something and so give back to the fraternity, wherein I should, number one, tell them what are the opportunities other than sailing. So I identified 33 opportunities that a mariner can do other than sailing.
Interesting.
I cannot guide on any one of them, in fact. So I then started to call up very, very senior people. And the first person whom I called for this was Captain Saggi.
Oh, Captain
Can you imagine that? I mean, he's the god, right? And
every sailor knows him.
Every sailor knows him, right? Yeah. And the first call to him, and I said, sir, this is what I want to do. Can you guide people? Can you mentor me? And of course, mentor people who are looking to get into, say maybe the administration side of it. And he said, why not? Right? And that gave me confidence. And that's how we have identified 60 mentors who would guide these experts. So that's how C and Beyond was born. I'm very proud that from the time this idea was conceptualized till the time I implemented it was 45 days. Having 60 experts, 33 fields, having a website, all of that, when I didn't know much. And this was pre-MBA days. This was during the time when I was preparing for GMAT, right?
Okay.
That's the time when I did all of this. So that's, and then we used to do webinars and all, way back in 2016, free webinars.
Yeah, C and Beyond, I've been hearing the name for a very long time. But yeah, as you say that you recently jumped in full time. Which year you jumped in full time?
2020.
After COVID.
After COVID,
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. Okay. So, what was the biggest challenge faced when you started your C and Beyond idea? Any challenges that you want to talk about? And how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I think just the concept. I think the challenge was more about validation of the idea rather than anything else.
Validation of the idea.
Yeah, because I was not sure. It was more of an internal challenge whether I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing, right? Then the challenges were as essentially an introvert personality, right? And when you do business, you have to talk to different people. You have to actually become in the marketing sales because to me, reaching out, explaining, convincing people to get on my platform. Why would Captain Saggi or any senior person be on any platform? They lend a credibility to a particular platform. So for me, identifying those people, getting them on our platform, that's the essence of C and Beyond, right? And that was, in a way, a challenge to find those people, having them on board, talking to them, meeting them. And so I think once that happened, then I think everything kind of flew in its way.
Once you bring those names, there's a lot of credibility in the market, and then bringing them on board itself is a big task.
Correct.
Not everybody will be willing to join your team in that case, So interesting. So that was the biggest challenge too.
Right.
To get the proof of concept whether this idea would work or not.
Correct. And and with this proof of concept, it didn't have any monetary angle to it. This didn't have commercial angle to it.
True.
But you work on a vision, which that you just kind of mentor people, and somewhere when you address the gap, there will be
a revenue stream.
Right.
So you never thought of making money with this?
No.
It was just to give back to the society.
Correct.
Very interesting.
Correct.
What role did your sailing experience play in shaping your business mindset?
Yeah, I don't think what I did, any non-mariner could do it. Because, I exactly know the pain point. I faced all those pain points. So first of all, I was trying for shore jobs before I got this one. And what I used to do was had my CV, which had my passport, CDC, height, weight, visa, and share it to every company's email ID which I know. I probably would have, sent my CV to 100 odd organization. I did not get a reply from a single one. I'm sure it's a case for many people do it, right? True. So that's the pain point which I'm trying to address, right? I enrolled myself in a course which I know which was a total waste of money, honestly, right? So that was the pain point, and I realized that, right? I didn't know how to make a CV. That was a pain point, right? I didn't know which college to go and study. How do I go and study? How do I make a LOP? Why do I do a particular course? What is in it for me? None of this I knew, right? And if I wouldn't have been a sailor, I could have never thought of coming into it. So this is because of my sailing, this thing. Recruitment is just a byproduct. I want to really help maritime professionals take a well-informed decision. Everything else just, happens.
Interesting. How different is the pressure of running a business compared to commanding a ship?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to be compare them also or not, because
Dhruv gave a very, you know Dhruv, right?
uh,
He gave a very nice answer to this. It's like, commanding a ship is like you have people under you, you can dictate terms.
correct.
But here in the shore job, I mean, he's a CEO of Ship's Cart. You cannot dictate terms.
Absolutely not.
You have to deal them in a very diplomatic way. On the ship, you are the boss. You can do anything. But here it's very different life.
Correct. And actually, very rightly said. And that's the major shift of mindset which a mariner has to make when a person is shifting ashore, right? And so it's not bol diya or ho gaya. It's over here. It's bol diya, पूछ लिया, reconfirm किया, confirm दोबारा किया, अब हुआ, एक बार check कर लिया, right? And that's how it is, right? And depending on what level and where do you work, but that's how initially it is. You can't just say कि हो बोल दिया और हो जाएगा, right? So, and of course the structure in shore in most organizations is very horizontal. And we are used to a very vertical structure. So that change is
very different.
Is different.
What one mistake you made early in your business that taught you a valuable lesson?
I think, and this is, I mean, in the business and otherwise also, I have generally not asked for a lot of advice from people. मेरा मन किया, थोड़ा सा लॉजिक लगा, मैं घुस गया और कर लिया, right? I don't think that's the right thing. I think, I mean, I started C and beyond. I was in a near to a railway station, Goregaon East Railway Station, when the idea came to me, and I distinctly remember that moment, right? And the next day I just started working on it. Did I make any business plan? Did I do nothing? I didn't do anything, right? So, but I think if I would have maybe taken some advice, I probably would have had a more structured way of doing it. Maybe could have been a little early, could have had success a little early in life. Yeah. So I think to all, I think go for that advice, go for mentorship. It always helps.
Okay, interesting. How do you manage risk as a founder, CEO? Is it similar to managing risk at sea?
No, not at all. I mean, see, the risk is much higher. Yeah, you're talking
risk of life.
Yeah, there's a risk of life over there. It's just that we are used to it and we are trained to it. So we may not, we of course feel it, but we are confident.
We start taking things for granted.
Correct, right? Over here, there is also one of the other things is in ship, many cases it's either white or black. Right?
There is no
over
gray.
Here, in entrepreneurship, you're always living in gray. Always.
True.
So, and there's nothing right or wrong over here, right? Wahan pe, there are certain set procedures. This is right, this is wrong. Here you don't know whether you invest this, whether it'll give you something or not.
True.
God knows. If it happens, it happens. But that's the fun of it, though.
Very interesting question. What are the biggest opportunities in maritime industry today for a new entrepreneur?
Oh my God. I'm very happy about the buzzing entrepreneurship in maritime. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, and not just at one who have been at a senior positions, but nowadays a lot of junior officers, engineers are being entrepreneurs. But I think one area where everyone cannot ignore in any kind of business they are in is technology, right? So that's one area where there are a lot of opportunities. In whatever kind of business you do, you have to get the right kind of technology, right? And what that right kind of technology is, that you have to understand. There are very many types of technology.
So basically, the technology is something that people should look forward to in maritime.
Correct.
Okay, Captain, what advice would you give to sailors who want to transition from sailing to a shore job and they don't know where to start?
Okay. So first of all, I'm not sure how was it at your time. I mean, not very far off, but I was built on stories saying that mariners are not successful businessmen, right? I mean, throughout my sailing life, I've only heard that, oh, jahaz pe this guy went and did business, he failed, and then he's come back, he's come back, he's come back, he's come back, right? Where did we ever know about successful maritime entrepreneurs? Very few, very few, right? So first of all, my message is that mariners can be very, very successful entrepreneurs. We have all the right skill sets for it, right? Now second, what do you want to become a successful entrepreneur? In my opinion, I think the pain point, right? Understanding the right pain point is the first thing that we start with, right? If you have cracked the pain point and found a viable solution to it, rest everything, the monetary part of it, all of these in today's day and age is not very difficult to get. I have been asked by people, a lot of people have asked me, they want to put money in my company. I don't need, we are cash flow positive, right? But money is not that much of a concern. It's the POV, right? It's the proof of concept or POC or the proof of value if you want to provide. Everything else flows. So the pain point and a good solution to it.
Interesting. If you had to bet on one major trend, if you had to bet on one major trend shaping the future of shipping, what would that be?
By far, technology. By far. It increases the efficiency. It reduces the workload. It provides transparency if we want it, of course. And I think while I'm talking on technology, I think one of the major resources, the skills which the industry needs is someone who understands shipping and someone who understands technology. So if you are a mariner and you want to succeed and in line with the current trends, upskill in the technology, right? If you are at a senior level, understand it. If you are at a junior level, get your hands dirty. That's my
Interesting.
suggestion.
Your views on future of AI, automation in shipping industry. Do you see disruption in traditional operations in shipping?
Why not? Why not? See, I mean, you have autonomous cars running,
There's a big debate on autonomous ships now.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have autonomous cars running in such crowded roads, right? Why not autonomous ships when you have open seas, right? If it's possible in such a uncertain environment. Of course, you've got storms, you've got other things also coming in. Is it possible? I think it is. I mean, how is there a high amount of risk involved? Of course, there is. There are other things to it, but it's possible, right? That's what I
think for autonomous ships to be the future, first we need to have electric ships.
All right. I mean that.
What do you think?
I'm not 100% sure on it. I mean, of course, if you go green, it's even better. But I mean, going electric on such a big vessel, I don't know, or a nuclear probably.
That's again, it's a debate because
correct.
Imagine you're fueling the ship.
Correct. Correct.
You're starting the engine and saying bye bye.
Right. Right. No, maybe you could just have autonomous navigation, right? But yeah, I'm just thinking that
I think it's a very good point to do research on. Some companies have already made the autonomous ships.
Correct.
Yeah. So we need to check whether they are electric or they are driven on fuel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Could be. Okay. So disruptions in traditional operations of shipping.
Yeah, I think they have already come. They'll increase more. See the bandwidth on of internet, right? on a vessel is increasing. And as the bandwidth increase, there will be more data coming in.
Correct.
When more data comes in, there will be better information, better processing, better insights, more actions.
Right. Sea and beyond. This is interesting. Okay, Captain. So we are getting into the main subject of yours, main baby of yours, Sea and Beyond. So Sea and Beyond has grown into a well-known platform in maritime industry. What was the initial vision behind starting the company? Did you think that it's going to be profitable, or was it just giving back to the society?
Yeah. Actually, when I started, it did not think of as a commercial venture. It was just a give back to the industry, wherein the only thought process was that the pain point which I got through in terms of getting my first shore job, anyone else shouldn't. So that's the only pain point which I was trying to resolve.
Actually, the next question is same. What gap did you see? So you already answered that.
Right.
Okay. How does Sea and Beyond help seafarers transition into shore-based career? Can you share success stories?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I think first is awareness. So as I said, we have about 33 fields where a mariner could go. We've got 60 experts who would mentor these people into which field is probably best for them. And then we can guide them into how to get into that particular field, right? So we could help you with psychometry test, we could help you with understanding of personality, and then choosing a field of your choice. So that's how we kind of help a person to transition. In terms of success stories, I think if you go on our website, there's a testimonial tab. If you click there, you will find
any story which
300, more than
very
300.
Close to your heart, which you feel, wow, I could manage to do that. This is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I just met a master mariner in Dubai 2 days back, right? And this is this is a person whom we assisted in the first shore job, a master mariner as a marine superintendent, right? Then he went into another company working as a surveyor. Now he took a course on Excel and BI, which we have, right? Now, while I was talking to him, he came and met me and he said, sir, I mean, this course has really helped him increase his efficiency, right? So he says that a lot of scheduling of certain cargo or the work needs to be done, and all the people in his office would take 45 minutes to schedule it. And he, because of that course, is able to do it in a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a very small thing, but when a person tells you that because of something
Because
which
of
you
you.
started,
Yeah.
and honestly, if I say Excel and BI is an omnipresent course, you just go on Google and you'll be able to see it. But bringing a maritime angle to it, that's what we did, right? Bringing that use cases, telling people that how you will be able to benefit out of it. That's what we tried and do. And that's a validation of the thought process, right?
True.
And honestly, we've got there's one more incident, and there's another master mariner, right? He wanted to get into commercial shipping, and he tried a lot, wasn't able to get through. And there was another opening, and where the company actually rejected his application. Said, no, he's too old, he's 34, 35, and it will be not, we don't take, I think he was 30, almost 35. And don't like to take, I mean, as this thing, we don't want to take.
Are you talking about Sharad?
No, another person, right? And he actually, insisted, and I talked to the hiring manager personally and said, can you please just talk to him once? Talk to him for 5 minutes. If it's not done, it's not done. You just, but you might get a good person. And, we are able to recruit that person. He is broking. He's in the broking space, and very difficult for master mariners to get into the broking space, right? Commercial is still okay. Broking is difficult. And he's minting money for the company right now.
Very interesting.
And that's one thing which I feel very, very satisfied, right? We are able to kind of support the person.
Very interesting. Apart from job placements, C and Beyond also offers career guidance and courses. How important is upskilling for maritime professional today?
Right. I think very, very relevant question over here. So in the bouquet of services, right? And I mean, these are very logical. They kind of it's symbiotic in nature. So we help in understanding what is the best career for you, right? We help in understanding what is the best career for you. We then help you to design your CV, help you to make your LinkedIn ID. We then help you to, approach a company which could be best for you, and then upskill you. Right now, in upskilling, we are partnered to 40 plus colleges, and these colleges are in France, Netherlands, Greece, Cyprus, UK, Canada, and of course India, right? But what I'm trying to do over here is, when I was a mate, I took a course because I wasn't aware that what should I do. Now with these colleges, and all of them have a maritime flavor, right? Now a person is at least aware that they could do these kind of
Very interesting.
courses, and from which all colleges. Now choose whichever you would like to choose,
And
we
these are
can help
distance
you.
learning, they can
No,
do it
full
from-
time also.
Full-time
full
also?
time also, distance learning as well. Both kind of.
Okay.
So we help you to choose. We counsel you that what to choose, how to choose, and in some cases we help you to get discounts as well, right? To get scholarships as well. So that's the value which we have added to the industry in terms of upskilling. We've got our own courses, and for example, now one of the companies told me that sometimes when an Indian person communicates on an email, the person puts in a lot of exclamation signs, right? And that's just the nature. And some we put a exclamation sign or something else, and it's probably not. It's taken in a rude manner by another person in another nationality.
Could be.
Now,
right.
in all his right mind and all his, everything fine, this Indian person is emailing to another nationality, and the person is not replying. And now he's getting frustrated. Why it's not happening? And finally, the manager came in. Why are you not replying? And then the person tells, I mean, it's rude of him. If he's answering him in this way, I will not reply.
Sure.
And so we got into an email communication course, right? Because in our nature of work, we are talking to multiple nationalities, and the way to talk, and we need to be aware of it. So basically, each and every pain point which we hear, we try and address it in a way which benefits the industry.
Interesting.
Let me add one more thing to it.
Yeah, please.
Another interesting thing is we now have a course on commercial shipping. Now in commercial shipping, almost everyone in shipping wants to get into commercial side, right? That's the most aspirational one. And you won't believe, companies are struggling to get the right kind of talent in the commercial side, right? And that's, we know because we are on the recruitment side as well. So we started a course on commercial shipping.
Is it similar to ICS?
ICS doesn't have a course.
Okay.
ICS have examinations.
Certification.
Right. So we are recognized partner of ICS,
Okay.
wherein our course gets the stamp of ICS. And so now what we're trying to do is, a person does this course, we call the companies, and the companies can then recruit. So that's the bridge which we are trying to have within the industry.
So do you also organize some kind of meetups in Bombay or different places? CMMI meetups or something?
No, we facilitate those meetups. So if, for example, CMI has a meetup, so we kind of
sponsor.
Right,
Okay.
correct.
Interesting. What industries outside traditional shipping are now open to seafarers because of their skills and experience? It's a very relevant question. I'm sure every sailor would like to know.
Correct. Absolutely. No, so I think two parts to it. One is on the deck officer side, and the other is on the engineer side, right? Now, engineers have a much more acceptance outside shipping because of
They
the
have
degree
the
they have,
degree,
right?
yes, yes.
So I know a marine engineer who is heading, who used to head a very big hotel as their chief engineer, and now he is heading a very big hospitality um, uh, unit. So he's running the malls through the companies and a hotel and also so various properties, right? So engineers, because they're marine engineers and if they've done MBA, they have a lot more acceptance. And as I said, into hospitality, people have become IAS, people have got into of course administration and other things, right? On the deck side, I think uh, so one of my seniors from IIM Ahmedabad, a mariner, after doing that course, he straight away became the CEO of a hospital in South India. Yeah, straight away over there, right? So I mean, your question is what can we do? What I'm trying to say is, I mean, it's about positioning yourself. You can do a lot of things, right? But this thing is other than core shipping, you can get into ports, you can get onto freight forwarding, you can get into a lot of business development stuff. As on the deck side, since we are coordinating with a lot of external agencies, by default our the probability of we having better coordination, better marketing skills is higher typically, right? And sometimes I see a lot of deck officers saying that yeah, I'm a captain यार, मैं थोड़ा ना जाके बेचने वाला हूँ. But we have to understand that
You're captain only on the ship.
correct. No,
Not
and
outside.
also in a corporate life, the single most influential function is the sales marketing,
True, very
right?
true.
And these guys actually dictate the corporate. So I would urge that look at that function in whichever industry that you would want to go.
Okay. How do you see Sea and Beyond evolving in next 5 years? Are there new features or expansion plans?
Absolutely. Great. No, thanks for that question. So, as I said, we are probably there in India. People know us, but we've expanded now in Dubai. I'm looking more into Saudi. I mean, the GCC countries. We've had someone in Singapore as well. So there is a global expansion which is happening, which is doing more of the same, but in different geographies, right?
Like globally.
Correct.
Very interesting.
And then we want to get into other areas wherein we see the pain points and we are able to address them. So mental well-being is something which we are working on, and hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months we come out with a great product on it, right? Second is we are also looking at a better module of e-learning, and those e-learnings will focus more on transition, and these will be recorded learnings on on the transition, and second is progression from sea to shore, of progression when you are shore, right? And third is we are also looking into the soft skill aspects, right? I mean, I think sometimes our skills in terms of the way we communicate outside the core shipping, presentation skills probably need a little bit of an improvement, and that's where we kind of focus on in the near future.
Very interesting. I think every sailor should look forward to Sea and Beyond and, upskill themselves because, see, at the end of the day, everybody has to come ashore, right? I mean, I know sailors, Captain Sunil is there. He's a very passionate captain. But most of us want to come back home and, stay with family. So I think Sea and Beyond could be a great platform for every sailor to come and do upskilling or maybe take mentorship or maybe consultancy from you, what he or she could do.
Right. I know. I think just on that point, and every sailor has to come ashore. I think actually what we try and do is we try and help people take well-informed decision.
Very true.
And sometimes we actually tell the person that no, shore job is not for you.
Okay.
Go and
Depends
sail.
on personality.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, correct.
And if a person wants some things in life, he said it will not be possible, right? So and for your personality, sailing is better. So sailing is a very good profession.
Yeah,
I
for
used to
sure,
love it,
for
right?
sure, for sure.
So I mean, why?
Okay, do you think the maritime industry is doing enough to prepare seafarers for shore-based career, or is there still a gap?
Okay, a very interesting snippet. Sometimes when I go to shipping companies and tell about my venture, a few people have said, if everyone comes ashore, who's gonna run the ships? So essentially, what I do, the shipping companies may not. Some people may not like it, right? So, and that's the reason why I say that we help people take a well-informed decision. That decision could be, that grass is greener on the other side, but sailing is probably better for you, right? But coming back to your question, is the shipping industry doing enough to help people train for shore jobs? Absolutely not, right? I think they should they should give information on what are the opportunities available, right? Does any company have a course or maybe a module so that a person can transition ashore, become a superintendent? I think one or two maximum these two companies have, which I know, right? Otherwise, no other companies have. We provide superintendents to the top 5 shipping companies, and these companies employ more than 20,000 sailors in their own company. Why do they need us? Honestly, right? Because they do not have that. They can't identify a person within their own pool. And that's where we come in the picture.
Very
So
interesting.
if they do it, it's good for everyone in the industry, but unfortunately, not all companies are doing this.
Okay, very important question for Sea and Beyond as well. If someone listening, if someone listening wants to explore shore-based opportunities through Sea and Beyond, what's the first step they should take?
All right. I think we've done a couple of videos on this in terms of how do you do this? But I think the first thing is understanding your personality, number one, and understanding that with this kind of personality, what are the relevant options for you, right? Look at 3 particular options, or write to us. We can tell you that these are the options. Once you get those options correct, then how do you pursue these options? That's something which you need mentoring. Then talk to people on those 3 things. But having that view of the 3 kind of profiles which are best suited to your personality is the most important thing.
Okay, so basically somebody can contact through your website.
Correct.
And then there will be a follow-up call from your
There will be a
CL Beyond
counselor
team.
and who would talk.
And then maybe a Google Meet or something, and then they will decide
Correct.
what questionnaire to send. And okay,
Correct.
interesting. And do you charge any fees for this?
For the initial counseling, no. But when we start the mentoring with the expert, then there is a minimal charge of 2,000 rupees for a 30
That's
minutes
very
call.
minimal.
That's
very
minimal. I mean, we don't want to make money, but what we don't want to do is that have non-serious conversations around it. That's the only reason why we charge for it.
Interesting. Okay. Balancing life, work, and growth. So, Captain Gaurav, how do you balance demands of running business with personal and a family life?
I think you ask any entrepreneur,
There's no balance.
There is no balance. But a couple of things which I do, right, is I try and play 5 to 6 days a week, right? I'm passionate, tennis player and a badminton player. So I maybe 3-4 days a week I play tennis, and I think that really keeps me sane because you talk to your friends, you play, that time you're focusing on something which is not related to
Work.
business.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very important, right? And the days when I'm playing, my productivity is much higher
Next
than the
level.
days,
Yeah, I'm sure.
right? And the second thing which I do is, whenever I reach home, and I typically don't take my work to home, so I reach late, maybe generally at 9:15 types. But then those 2 hours when I'm there, I don't talk, I don't see mobile, I
Mobile phone.
don't typically work. So, and that's how I'm
That's how
managing.
the life of a
Correct.
startup founder is. Okay. What's your daily routine like as an startup founder? Um, I mean, that's very irrelevant to ask whether it is different from sailing. Come on.
Yeah, no, of course, sailing days, it was fun, honestly. But yeah, I typically start my day by 6:30. I am on the tennis court or a badminton court. I play for a couple of hours. 8:30, I'm back. 9:30, I plan to be in the office. And from then on, I try and plan. At least take 20 minutes off to just plan the day, what I want to do,
Yeah.
and which vertical do I want to focus on.
Yeah.
And then the day goes on, try and have as many meetings during a particular time. And call it off by 9, maximum by 9ish in the evening, and then 2 hours to the family. One good thing for me is my house is very close to my office.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
so that really kind of, some days if I want to just go and spend an hour and also have a tea and then come back, I do. But that's very maybe few days in a year, but I try and
You can
that.
do. Yeah. Do you think that work-life balance exists in a founder's life?
Yeah, I think, and this is something which I was talking to someone a couple of days back, and I kind of agree with the person, is that these are, I mean, not exclusive to each other, right? Work and life, the family, they go concurrent. So when people say that you only do work and you don't do life, I think to and founders, maybe this is a little different, but typically if you can do this concurrently, if you are at work, you take the call from your family, you would, right? When you are at home, would you take a call from their office? You would.
Yeah.
So it goes concurrent. But I think it's important. And why, and a lot of advice which I get from very senior people in the industry is that, who was maybe in your late 50s 60s, is spend time with your family, because that time is not gonna come back. So I think it's important. Am I able to practice? No, because maybe my time management skills are not that great, but I urge everyone to practice it.
Interesting. For young seafarers who want to follow your footsteps, both at sea and business, what's your biggest piece of advice?
Okay, I think common sense is the most very uncommon, right? So, I mean, two things: think very logically, right, and be fearless, right? Um, because someone has not done it doesn't mean that you won't be able to do it. Um, if the logic demands this can be done, it can absolutely be done, right? There's nothing stopping you. Be fearless. If you feel it's the right thing, just take the plunge.
And I think having a mentor is also very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because in the startup world, you may have situations where you feel broken, like
Correct. Yeah, I mean, another thing on the startup side, and I'm talking from my shortcomings or things which I would like to have. I think try and have a co-founder as well, right? Because sometimes, not sometimes, it's a very lonely journey over here.
True,
And you need someone who goes through the same pain as you. Your family wouldn't understand, your colleagues may not understand, but having a co-founder really
is
helps.
important. Yeah. Okay, where can people connect with you if they want to follow your journey?
I'm on the LinkedIn. Yeah,
I'll put the put your LinkedIn profile URL in the caption section so people can go through it. What's next for you, Captain Gaurav? Any big projects or any ventures in the pipeline?
yeah. As I said, I think the point is that wherever we need people, mariners to take well-informed decision, that's where we want to go into, right? Two, three things. A, expansion outside India. B, I also see that a career in shipping or sailing is also not everyone knows about it. So maybe I want to also increase the awareness about it. So
sailing, yeah.
sea and beyond may also focus on sea,
On
right?
sea, yeah.
So that's the other area where you may see us getting
Very
into
interesting.
as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two key
Okay,
things.
let's get to the quiz.
Absolutely.
Okay, very interesting question. Related to geography, I'm sure you sailed and you know about this. Which strait connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf and is crucial for oil trade?
Persian Gulf to the
Arabian Gulf. Arabian Sea, sorry.
um,
Do you want me to give you
no.
alternative choice?
No. It's Red Sea, right? It's a
Bro, Persian Gulf to Arabian Sea.
Persian Gulf to Arabian Sea. Sorry, Babel Mandap and
Okay,
come
your
on.
options are Strait of Malacca,
Come on,
Bosporus Strait,
come on.
Strait of Hormuz.
State of Hormuz. Come on. It's been 14 years I went to sea.
Yeah. Which country has the largest merchant shipping fleet in terms of gross tonnage? Your options are China, Greece, USA, Singapore.
Greece.
Oh, good one. Okay. This you would know. This is a simple one. Wait, huh? Why was the Ever Given incident in the Suez Canal a major global trade disruption?
It blocked the trade. It blocked the canal. It blocked, increased the number of days that a ship would take to transit.
Which port is considered the busiest in the world in terms of container traffic?
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam, Shanghai, Dubai, Los Angeles.
Rotterdam.
Think again.
Shanghai.
Shanghai. China, bro.
Yeah, correct.
What is the largest ship classification society by market share? I'm sure you would be knowing this. Classification society.
ABS.
DNV.
Oh, okay.
Det Norski Verestas.
Okay.
Which Asian country has the world's largest shipbuilding industry?
China.
China. Which Indian port handles the highest cargo volume annually?
Mundra.
Close.
Okay. Kandla.
Kandla. All right, Captain. It was lovely meeting you and
Pleasure.
connecting you.
Thank you so much.
It's a long podcast. I think this is the longest podcast of Port to Port. But there's so much to learn from you. And your experience and knowledge. I'm sure our audience will also recognize and they appreciate the time spent watching the video. So guys, thank you so much for joining. We had Captain Gaurav Rana today, and he explained his journey of becoming a captain, then transitioning to IIM Ahmedabad, and then transitioning to becoming a founder of Sea and Beyond. To every sailor, I think you guys should check out Sea and Beyond. As Captain Gaurav suggested, there are a lot of ideas to upskill yourself, looking out for opportunities around global trade and shipping. So I wish you all the best. Signing out, Port to Port. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.